Okay, let's go. Okay, today in Mombasa, Kenya, let's go to take the pulse with of the world with Francis, the journalist. Before starting the interview, can you present yourself very shortly? Your name,
Sure.
what are you doing, and how old are you?
All right, my name is Francis Mwaka. I'm a Kenyan. I come from the coastal province of Kenya, and I'm a journalist by profession. Now I teach journalism at university, and I'm a media consultant for the time being. That is me.
How old are you?
I'm 30 years old. Yeah.
Okay, the first question. Which do you think is the biggest problem of the world?
I think the biggest problem of the world is greediness. You know, people want to have more than they need, while other societies are suffering. So if we remove that greediness in us, want to have everything, eat more food, you become obesity, you have problems. You want to have big houses, they consume a lot of energy. You have big cars, they consume a lot of energy and fuel, they pollute the environment. To have a lot, we can deal with enough. That's the biggest problem. And as a result of that, people wanting to have more, they end up causing problems, getting corruption into corrupt activities, and in the process they provide very bad leadership. And that bad leadership of the world is the one that leads to now other problems that are social, economic, and political. That is the biggest problem now.
Okay, good. And how do you think this problem can be solved?
This problem can be solved by us accepting the fact that we only need this much, only need enough to keep us going. And we are only here in this world for a few years, not the eternity. You know, there's no need of amassing a lot of wealth, a lot of many things, big things, when you are 60 years, 70 years, and you have a few years to live. So let's deal with what is enough for us and leave the rest for our children and our grandchildren and our future planet.
And you personally, can you do something for like that exists less greediness in the world?
Yeah, I can do something, and I've been doing a lot in terms of sensitizing my people and sensitizing my colleagues and the students that I teach to tell them you don't need to have everything in this world to make your life interesting, or to consider yourself as somebody who has made it in life. You don't need to drive a big four-wheel drive in a city whereby you barely go 70 kilometers around. You don't need to have tall buildings. When you have enough land to have a nice compound, a small building. So the process of me sensitizing the people and to uphold the basics of understanding that we need to share this world with other people. Our great parents left the land for us in a better way. Why are we spoiling it? Why are we killing it? So in the process of me talking to my students, my colleagues, and my friends, sensitizing them through the media, through speeches, through talks, I feel that I'm contributing to a greater exchange, to a greater world, and a safer world, and a good world for everyone.
Okay, good. And okay, in Kenya, which do you think is the biggest problem?
Leadership. The biggest problem in Kenya is bad leadership. You can't say it is that bad as compared to other African countries, because we have other African countries that are in worse situation, particularly our neighbors. But I believe that being a country that has had relatively good peace, good education system, good political structures since independence, we should be far. We should be far than where we are in terms of economic development and in terms of social development, social-political development, than where we are now. We should be now the so-called developing countries, developed country, not developing country, because that period of 40 years, we should be very far. That is my biggest
can
problem.
we solve that?
That is going to be solved by when there's a change in guard in terms of leadership, in terms of political leadership, and we have young men and men coming in. For example, these are political year in Kenya. Election year in Kenya, and we hope to achieve to change the system for better, not for worse. People who are now able to conceptualize the issues that are really the challenges that are facing us in 21st century than we had in the previous regimes.
So you think it will change now?
It definitely is going to change. We are looking forward for better leadership and a better change, better economy, better social and economical development than we have ever witnessed before, because people are able now to relate with the young men who are now taking up on leadership.
And you personally, do you think you can do something to solve this problem of leadership?
Yes, we are doing it. We are talking a lot of good things about leadership. We are teaching clear schools of leadership that have been established in all areas. We are realizing that if you have to get anything going, you have to teach ourselves first. And we cannot rely on loans and donors from developed countries, World Bank, IMF. No. We have the solutions to our problems. We Africans, or we young men. So what are we trying to do? We are trying to change the mentality of Kenyans and Africans for that matter, to take charge of our own problems, to be responsible, to be accountable for every action that we do. That is the way forward, and that's where we are heading. And that is my role, and that's the role that I'm playing. Anything that I do, I must be accountable for it. I should not wait for any other person to come and be accountable for it. I should be able to answer all questions that are directed to me for doing or performing some certain tasks. Yeah. They have come.
He's entering or?
Yeah, waambie waingie. Wewe waambie waje. Yeah.
Okay, let's go to a personal level.
Yeah.
Do you feel happy?
Yeah, I'm happy. I'm one person who decided to make a commitment in my life that I should not be angry, because I can change. I can decide to be happy or to be annoyed. So if I can control that within my mind, so I will obviously go to the aspect of being happy. I decide to be happy. You can insult me, you can say bad things about me, but I can decide not to get annoyed. Hello, how are you? These are gentlemen for the nation. Yeah, just
finishing.
No, you can continue if you want to take a photograph. Then nitakuelezea. Karibia kidogo.
How could you be happier?
Sorry, how I could be happier?
Yeah.
I could be happier when if I look around and I find everybody is having enough to eat, drink, shelter, basics. I'll be more happier when I see kids playing happy without problems. I'll be happier when I see everybody is not complaining of ailments. When I see European countries cutting down the emissions of pollution, which is not going to affect the entire world, affecting our environment and whatever. It will make me happy. Basically, if everybody has basics, I'll be happier when I see life like that.
Okay, and the last question, which could be the secret of happiness?
The secret of happiness is you to decide, because God created us in a way that we are able to control our mind. You understand? Happiness is not necessarily you having everything. Happiness is attitude. Is attitude. You can have all the money that you have. You can have all the good vehicles, good things. But in your heart, if you decide not to be happy, it will never work. So it's you to control it. I've made that conscious decision. Every day when I wake up and the sun is shining, I'll make the best out of that particular day. I'll make myself happy, even if you don't make myself. I'll laugh, I'll listen to the music, I'll look at the environment, I'll see green plants, they'll make me happy. I see people swimming here and I decide that I'm going to be happy. And I relax my face so that my blood pressure goes down, and I hope to live longer for for my kids.
Okay.
Yes.
Dad,
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Daddy,
Mm.
I want to see my dad.